Aloha, it's 365 Hawaii.
With Eric and Julie Ziemelis, and we are here on the big island of Hawaii, and we are in the township of Keaho.
And today we're going to answer the internet's most asked questions about Hawaii and the big island.
There you go. So we are going to tell you guys this because we've lived here for 20 years and we know a little bit about living here.
And we thought you might like to get our crazy thoughts of what it is instead of Mr. Google figuring out what you're going to do. These is real life people telling about real life things.
We're going to go through the questions and answer them. But first I want to tell you, the place that we're standing right now in Keaho is about 6 miles south of Kona proper. And this is the birthplace of King Kamehameha. And this is one of the things that when you're going to come and visit our big island, you're going to learn a little bit about culture. So we're going to be interspersing this video with some tidbits and facts. But while you're here, we do want you to take a moment to read the signs and to learn a little bit about this island before you show up, because that's going to add so much more value to your whole vacation if you understand a little bit about the history and the culture.
The main question we got off the internet is, what is the best time of year to visit the whole Hawaiian Islands? And we have different ideas of the islands versus our island. So in general, we sort of mimic what's happening in the regular states. That in the winter it does rain a little bit more usually, and I would say that our lows are no more than 70, and the high would be no greater than 80 or 82 for the winter.
So that's winter time.
Winter time.
Yeah, and most of the people do find themselves finding that they want to be in Hawaii during that time frame because they're freezing on the mainland.
Yeah, that's right.
However,
with the cold 70.
You will be with a lot of other people during that time as well. So in terms of comfortability, that also mixes in with the ability to actually get around on the island. But one of the things that I love about being here, especially right now, which is April, is the fact that this is a shoulder season time where there are not a lot of visitors and the kids aren't out of school yet. And so you're going to get a little bit more wiggle room, I think, across all the islands, really.
Yeah.
Because there's just, there's that lull. And also this is where you're also going to find probably cheaper airfare and cheaper lodging.
High season would be from December 15th through just the beginning of March would be about right.
Yeah, we have a lot of snowbirds that come and they like to spend 3 months of the year here. But everybody likes to come at Christmas to New Year's, and that's going to be your most expensive time to be here.
Right, and then also right around the first week in August is also another really big one. Everybody comes on vacation, so that is the time to go.
Right, so all the people who didn't get out in June and July know that it's the last time. In fact, we were at the Four Seasons one time talking to the general manager, and he said that August 1st through 5th, it's just as busy as Christmas time.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what makes the Big Island different than the Hawaiian Islands in general, because it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So one thing too is that when we come, for people who come to Christmas here on our island, it hardly ever rains during the Christmas holiday season. Now, I can't say the same thing about our surf that usually kind of comes up during that time frame, which keeps you out of the ocean a little bit. But you're going to get really, really great weather during, I like to say that starting on December 5th, to be exact, all the way to the time people actually start to leave in February.
So we get more rain in spring and summer than in winter, and the question is why? And the answer to that question is we are so far down in the Hawaiian Island chain that a lot of the storms miss us. They always laugh. They hit Kauai, everybody gets.
Yeah, that's why it's wet in Kauai. And then they circle around Maui and Oahu because they don't have the big mountains that we do to kind of block different parts of the island off from the weather patterns. But we've got two massive volcanoes up there that basically block a lot of the incoming storms that are coming in from towards the west. And so being here in West Hawaii specifically gives you those sunsets, and you got your beautiful coral beaches and everything else, because we are absolutely blocked from a lot of the stuff that happens on the other islands.
So there you go. That's which island is?
Right. And like I said, April's a good time. You guys, humidity up the yin. September, October, November. I just have to warn you. You're going to probably get a little bit lower pricing on lodging, but that's a big humidity area. So if that's not your bailiwick, don't come around vacation during that time frame.
The question is, which Hawaiian island should I go for my first trip?
Okay, and they're going to have like a little chatty chat about that. Okay, so what would you say?
So I would have to agree with what everybody else says on the internet. I think Oahu. Number one, there's so much stuff to do. It's easy to get to. It works. Lodging is not that hard. It's not that hard to get around. So I think in terms of getting your feet wet, that would be a good place to go. Okay. And why would you say differently?
I would say differently because we grew up in the Bay Area, and going to Oahu is like going to San Francisco on a small island with 1 million people. I think that you might actually not actually see what Hawaii looks like when you start off in Oahu, unless you're on the other side, like where Kailua is. But even then, it's so crowded. If you really want to get a flavor, and again, not everybody comes to Big Island first because they've heard about the other islands, but Eric and I first went to Maui, and that's where we went on our honeymoon. That's where a lot of people actually are introduced to Hawaii. And also, I think that the one thing about Maui is not as crazy crowded. You don't have 4-lane freeways in Maui. You get a feeling of what a tropical experience looks like, and it's a smaller experience, so you're not having to drive too far to figure it out. So you can actually do Maui in like 3 or 4 days and feel like you've pretty much gotten a good feeling for it. Also, there's upcountry. There's parts of the island that are resorts and ritzy. There's parts of the island that you can get away from life and kind of go for a snorkel without a bunch of people. So it gives you a little flavor of the islands just in that one island.
All right. So at the end of the day, it's sort of subjective. You guys can kind of pick whatever.
Yeah, if you like shopping. Yeah. And and again, okay, I like Waikiki. You're going to get beautiful blue water, beautiful. It goes like on for out. You can do some amazing snorkeling and more surfing on Waikiki than you can almost on any other island safely. But again, there's a butt for every seat. And if you are an older adult who loves activities and you don't want to be with other people and you just want to go out hiking and going on the boats and stuff, I love our island. Our island is perfect for people who like to snorkel because we don't have rivers running into the West Hawaii Ocean. So we have really great clarity for scuba and for snorkeling. And we also have manta rays. Nobody else has that.
Yes, the manta rays are big here, and we are the only island that has it for sure.
And you can like literally just go right out here, right where we're at Kona.
We're literally like half a mile from where a quarter of a mile. It's right there. You can
swim to go swim with the mantas from here. So we actually have a very special island that really goes towards people who can entertain themselves by being out in nature. We don't have a lot of nightclubs. We don't have the restaurant scene as the other ones, but it definitely, if you are an outdoor adventurer who just likes to just explore cool new things and maybe not with a lot of other people.
Yes, but we're not biased against any of the other islands. We just happen to live here, which kind of makes you just slightly.
We've been on all the other islands. I think they're all beautiful.
And they're all good. Each has their own.
They all have their own character.
Yep.
And they also definitely have their own vibe. And as we discussed in this video, the Big Island definitely has more of like a spiritual vibe. And also I think we find more culture on this island too. So if you're interested in learning more about the Hawaiian culture, you get a chance to see Hawaiian villages, the way they were actually built hundreds of years ago.
Okay, as you know, we spend a lot of time and energy in this channel, and we are self-sponsored. And what we do for a living is we are realtors here on the Big Island.
And so if you guys are thinking and inspired by, after you see this video, that this might be a place that you'd like to either call home or a place to invest, we are available at 365hawaiire.com, and you can search the available listings. And we invite people to come who plan on getting back to the island. We search for great volunteers and people who really respect this island. And if you think you're one of them, we'd love to work with you.
Okay, the next question is, how much time should you spend on the Hawaiian Islands for a vacation? 1 day, 5 days, 2 weeks, something like that? Mm-hmm. What's your thought?
I'd say that to really do any of the islands upright, okay, this one specifically, you have to spend a week.
But, yeah, I think all the rest of it should.
Well, you don't get this. You really can see so much on Maui in just a couple of days. Yeah. You and I, basically, we didn't stay a week there.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And I've been there for 3 or 4 days, and I felt I was done. So I'd say that the bigger the island, the more time you should spend there. We did spend only 4 days in Kauai. We got hiking in, we got eating, we got a chance to be in the ocean. So the bigger the island, the more time you need. And this island, being so big, is the fact that it takes 2.5 hours to get from one side of the island to the other.
So my thoughts on coming to the island, and it doesn't matter which island you are, is it takes so long to get here. It's at least a 5-hour flight from California, and if you're coming from some other place, it can definitely add up. And the fact that usually you're going to go home on a red eye. So if you come for anything less than 7 days, it just doesn't seem worth it. And the cost, you know what I mean? The airfare costs a lot of money to get here, so you might as well enjoy it while you're here. And even if on some of the islands there's not anything to do, maybe just chill out and try relaxing for a little bit. Yeah. But here is a different story. And why is that?
Well, okay, you guys, one thing people don't understand is how big this island is. So I'm not making this up because Eric and I have done this 2 or 3 times. We did a video about this if you want to see the other video. If you are trying to see everything in one day on this island and just driving around it, not everything, but enough, it takes you 13 hours. It is a very exhausting day, and you're only doing these things for a very short amount of time. You don't really get a chance to dig in. So what we always suggest is giving these different parts of the island a couple days to give them the attention they deserve. You're going to see mountains. You're going to see ocean. You can be in the ocean. You can be on the beach. You can be getting a chance to see the resorts up in Kahala, or down here having what a normal life looks like in West Hawaii and Kailua Kona. And then if you want Hawaiian culture, you want to see how the first city in all of Hawaii runs, it's Hilo. It's on on the other side of the island. That's 2.5 hours to drive. Then if you want to see remote coast, that's the Puna area and the Pahoa. And that's another like almost 3 hours from just this side. So to see it all and dwell and get a chance to get in the ocean and go hiking and all that good stuff, a week.
Take some time. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and some people, that's why they stay here for 2 or 3 months. You can't see it all. In fact, it took us, I don't know, 7 or 8 years to see it all.
And we still haven't seen it all. We've been here for 20 years. Still haven't got there yet. Okay, Julie, I got a funny one for you.
Okay, the person who asked this question might not think that's funny, though.
Well, okay. The question is, do you need a passport to come to Hawaii? And the answer is...
No, because we are Americans.
And we are the 50th state, so we are good.
Yes, you are not going to a different country when you fly to Hawaii. On any of the islands. And also to let people know, too, that when people fly in and they say, is that lava? Yes, all of the Hawaiian Islands are made of lava. Ours you can see a little bit more because it's like fresh black. But yes, all the Hawaiian Islands do have lava.
These questions are Big Island specific, and I'll read them off. First one is it safe to visit the Big Island with the volcanoes? How would you describe that one, Julie?
I'd say that us sitting here is just about as safe as you're going to get, and we're 200 miles from the volcano, and even if you were about, I don't know, half a mile from the volcano, it's still safe.
Yes, we have friends that made it through the entire 2018 eruption, and they were less than a mile away from the
Right,
volcano.
they had 10,000 earthquakes hit them while they were still living up there, and the only thing that happened to them was a little bit of ash fell on them. Yeah, unless there's an actual rift zone experience like what happened in 2018 where fountains of lava do shoot up in people's neighborhoods, you're usually pretty safe here. And also you would be hearing about the opportunities for it to be not safe before you actually arrived on the island, because the USGS knows ahead of time if we're going to have a massive eruption, especially if it goes out of the caldera and volcanoes.
And this goes back to civil defense. I always love civil defense on this island. It'll always tell you what's going on, and it's like your good buddy that's kind of watching out for you, saying, hey, be careful. This is kind of good. So civil defense, they've got a very soothing voice. It's all very good.
Yes, and if you are worried about what's going on with the volcano before you arrive, USGS Volcanoes National Park has updates on what's happening with the volcano like every single day.
Okay, the next question is, can you visit an active volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii?
Why, yes, you can. In fact, ever since December of 2024, you can visit it like every 2 or 3 weeks.
So what? I think we're on eruption number 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So yes, it's been going off about every other week since December.
Yeah.
Is what it's good. So yeah, plenty of time for doing that on top.
Yeah,
of it.
and if it does go down and you can't see live lava, you'll still get a chance to enjoy Volcanoes National Park, and you will see lava all over this island because the whole island is volcanic.
Oh, and that goes back to where can you see the lava, which we just answered. So
yeah, you can see right behind us.
All right, so here's the other question. What is the difference between Hawaii Island and the other islands?
Okay, Hawaii Island obviously is the newest one, and it does have an active volcano on it.
Right.
Also, we had an eruption about 2 years ago at Mauna Loa. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that no other Hawaiian island besides this island actually has volcanic eruptions that are consistently happening. Also, we have a huge island. We have 13 different temperate zones over the course of an island the size of Connecticut. You are definitely going to never get tired or bored on this island.
Also, the geography is different since this is the newest of the island. This is the last that has been created. So we don't have those jutting cliffs that they do on the other islands. We have a whole different topography here that you do at other places.
Right. So if you like those corrugated, velvet-covered mountains that you can find in Kauai and Oahu, that's not going to happen here for you. Sorry, but you know what though, it's kind of cool on our side, is if you go on the other side of the island towards the Hamakua coast, that whole area is not developed, and you can actually take a helicopter ride and see a huge swath of the island that has no civilization in it whatsoever.
And I think that's where they filmed the intro of Jurassic Park.
That's
actually.
right. So if you want to see an island that looks like it was captured in time, our island can do that because there is no development on that side.
Right. And also what's interesting about our island is that we have no red dirt here. We are, because it's new, they don't have the same, the dirt is
and
just
you
different.
didn't even realize that that's a thing. In fact, if you don't like dust, Big Island is great because we don't have old dirt hanging around. It's if you're standing out on the fresh lava field, which is like a lot of this island, basically there is no dust and dirt. But the cool thing though is if you do like that, you can go up to Kahala, which is the oldest part of our island, which has been over, that volcano hasn't gone off in over 9,000 years. But if you like a little bit of the fresh stuff, we've got Kilauea at Volcanoes National Park. And then we also have here, even in Kailua Kona, the last one that went off was, we had the last eruption in 1851 from our local volcano, Huliheʻe. But again, it's just the black lava on this island that you don't see as much over on the other islands at all. That makes it a little bit different.
Also, what makes this island interesting is the fact that we do not have a lot of people on this island. We have a lot of space and not a lot of people. There's just over 200,000 people that are here full time. And so because of that, you have lots of openings going from place to place. So there you feel a sort of a vastness that you don't feel on the other islands.
Yes,
Everything
you can
is
be completely alone.
Yes.
Which when we traveled to Oahu, we realized that is it's a gift that if you're traveling and you come from places that are already crowded, to be here where you literally can be alone on a beach, you can be alone on a hike, you can be alone in a pasture, you can just get away from everything. And also because we don't have so many people that live here, you are not having to stand in lines and spend hours waiting for your cool breakfast or your dinner. Most of the places here don't have that much of a wait at all.
Okay, so I'm going to add one more to this. Also, Hawaii Island has a spirit to it, almost a vibe, right? And it is different than Maui, and it's different than Oahu, and you can really feel the closeness of the spirituality by coming here.
Right. People say they feel called to be here on our island, and they also feel like they cry when they leave because they feel a special connection to Hawaii Island, where again, it's not really happening on the other islands. And I don't know if it's because of the fresh lava and pele being here, but there's always people who feel a connection when they get off the plane. So that's something that's special that you don't see everywhere else. It is because we don't have as many people as Oahu, you're also going to get a chance to actually kind of just feel that nature and feel the spirit because you're not being surrounded by a ton of people and traffic. And we don't have 4-lane highways on our island. It's like 2 lanes. So you kind of just get a chance to breathe here.
Yep. Yeah, and we could go on, but that kind of gives you a general idea.
We love this island.
As you can tell, we're not living in Oahu. We live here on top of that.
Right, and one of the reasons that a lot of people actually choose to live on this island is because it's the most affordable of all the other islands. And so a lot of us who got here 10, 15 years ago, there was a massive affordability difference between the islands and Kona, which has the ocean view and the sunsets and all the good stuff that a lot of the windward sides of the islands and the other areas also do, but they also have $1 million homes. It has been less expensive in the last 8 years, but then it did kind of catch up. And one of the reasons that happened was because of after the pandemic. When people didn't come here very much is because we had volcanic fog. And we still get it every now and then, but people who care a lot about air quality will sometimes choose not to live here, and that keeps our island a little bit more secret and affordable. It's definitely tourist side. That side's, yeah, exactly. It's like just a place where people actually go about their daily lives.
Yep, and the prices reflected that. You can buy a new house in the $500,000 range in the an HPP, which is pretty amazing. And
Hawaiian Paradise Park.
Hawaiian Paradise Park, and here that same house would be
$1.2 million.
$1.2 million. So there's definitely a difference of doing that. But as in terms of vacation side, this is the one to come. We've got more hotels on this side than they do on the other side.
Right, and we have vacation condos on this side where the other side does not do that. So you have a choice of resorts, small boutique hotels, Airbnbs, and also an opportunity to also do hostels. So we got it all over on our side.
What is the best beach here on Hawaii Island? Or beaches, then maybe not one. What's your favorite, Julie? What would you say?
I'd say that it's a beach that actually a lot of people who actually live here don't even know that much about.
Really?
It's Kua Bay. And a lot of people don't know where it is because there's no signage on the highway. You actually have to be in the know, and you actually have to look at a map. The entrance is across from the West Hawaii Veterans Cemetery. And it is a beautiful beach, but it is lacking in sand a bit during the first 3 months of the year, usually because it's a seasonal beach where the sand gets pulled out to the ocean and brought back in the spring. Another reason why I like being here in April, because the sand comes back. But it's beautiful white soft sand with a beautiful blue ocean, and it is spectacular.
Okay, so I'm going to say Hapuna, which is farther north of the airport. It's probably about half an hour outside here of maybe even a little more from Kona, depending on where you are. And that beach is almost a third of a mile long, which is one of the biggest beaches on the island. It's perfect. The sand, Kua Bay has got a little better sand, but Hapuna is just a little bit bigger, and it's just, the water is just has that classic, a perfect beach in Hawaii kind of thing.
Really?
Yes. Now, one of the downfalls about beaches in Hawaii is that you have to be, and then, okay, I'm going to add one one more beach the other one here in town would be White Sands Beach here. Magic's, right? And they have, it's a small beach, but it is right here in downtown. The downfall is that one tends to get pretty crowded because of the number of people.
In fact, you know what though, on that beach, you guys, I just heard the lifeguards say, this beach will kill you. I'm not kidding. So that's another thing too about being in West Hawaii is that you have to be very careful of ocean safety. Our waves will kill you.
Yeah.
They come up from very deep at 5,000 feet and they come up and they hit the shelf of this island and they go boom on you.
Yeah.
So watch what other people are doing and do not swim at beaches that do not have lifeguards.
Don't turn your back to the ocean, of course.
Right.
And if you see a wave coming and you're standing in it and you're about to get taken out by it, it will take you out.
Yeah, so duck.
The trick is dive into the wave.
Duck under the wave,
yep.
under the wave. And even if you guys are seriously, I've seen people do this, Eric and I both have. Don't
do
stand there like a deer in a headlight. You know it's going to happen and take your preventative measures ahead of time. Teach yourself how to dive under the smaller waves so if a big one comes, you know what to do next. Watch other people in the ocean first. Another thing too that people say that no one tells them when they get here is the fact that people do die while they're snorkeling. The average age of somebody who dies out here is a 56-year-old male who gets in over his head because he's so excited. And the fact is that you don't get a chance to like swim very often and your heart rate gets going and then you get yourself stuck out there and then you have a heart attack. It happens a lot. So be careful. Swim lightly for a while. Get used to the water. One of the best places that you can go and just hang out is there is a little beach right in downtown Kailua Kona, and you walk into the water, and it's like about 4 feet deep, and you can hang, put your little swim on, and you can swim around, and that way you can get a chance to kind of get acclimated. And there's no waves there usually. Also, good places right behind us here at Kailua Beach Park.
Yeah, that's a good place. You can literally walk out here and put your mask on and swim out there. Which is just
Lots
really
of great
nice.
snorkeling, and they don't have huge waves that'll kill you here. Great place for families. Also, there's a lifeguard right behind us. Lifeguards are always here. Ask questions. Also, when we talk to you guys about ocean safety, also don't go too far out. This current will pick you up. Do you think about that? There's a lot to worry about with ocean safety here. So don't let your small children go out into the waves and then get hit or get carried out. You're probably not going to get beaten by a shark though.
We got beaches for that too. But all right.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going deep into this question.
Because it has so many different layers, because we're getting a chance to talk to you guys about it. But if you like white sand, then Hapuna, Kua, and Magic definitely have those white sand beaches. There is some interesting beaches on the other side of the island, but because they don't have the coral that we have on this side, they're not white sand beaches, but they're interesting. They're usually actually large tide pools with some rock beaches, but they have some really beautiful things about them as well. So if you are on the island for a week, go to Richardson's and the whole section of the Hilo
Mile 4. Yeah.
Mile 4, because there's about 5 or 6 of these different kinds of beach parks, and each one is totally different and absolutely spectacular if you get a sunny day.
Okay, next question is, do you need a rental car on the Big Island of Hawaii? And the unanimous answer from 365 is yes, you do.
Yeah.
Just to put things in perspective, just trying to get an Uber from the airport is difficult. And I heard it's up to $65 or $70 to get to Kona. And then the downfall of that, let's say your plane leaves at a time when it's busy, you're not going to get a ride.
Right. We don't have that many people who are doing Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, Uber is not really a good thing, and there's not a lot of ground transportation here. There's not buses that come to the airport all the time because there's not a lot of hotels. There's just not enough people. We come from a land where it's a small island and there's not a lot of resources, so you got to fend for yourself, and that includes having a rental car. And especially if you're going to drive around the island, there's no other way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a one circle bus that then you're at the whim of the guy who's driving the bus.
Are, definitely.
But yeah, definitely when people say, "I'll just take public transportation," there is one bus that goes around as public transportation, but it really is supposed to be for locals. But it gets on and off. It'll take you forever to get anywhere. So yes, get that car. And if you're coming during a busy time, book it early. These things actually, if they don't sell out, they go up in price exponentially.
Particularly Christmas time is the one that it definitely sells out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, this is always our favorite. What's there to do for free on the Big Island? And we kind of chuckle. Okay, so the good news about Big Islands, we got a lot of things that are open. And I would say my favorite free thing to do would be a circle tour of the island, okay? And the island is huge. It's going to take you at least all day, probably 12 hours to do this if you do it right. And you start here in Kona and you head south and you hit all the little stops along the way. And it makes it an incredible day, and it's all fairly free.
Well,
unless you buy lunch.
Well, you got to get your national park pass to go into Volcanoes National Park.
Okay.
If you're going to park here and park in the parking lot, they do charge you a minimal fee, but you can park on the street for free. What we do say, though, is we don't encourage people coming just because they're trying to save a buck, because everybody who shows up here actually has some impact on this island. So if you do come, please help support local businesses and, coffee farms, and, actually get a chance to actually explore this island by getting a tour or going in and going to a farm. Like, we have got orchid farms, we've got chocolate, we've got coffee, there's vanilla. Learn a little bit more about this island and what it has to offer in terms of exports, and that way you get a chance to eat something different too. So there's your free.
Free, free, not quite. I think you described it.
There's nothing free in this world.
Okay, so the next question is, where are the black sand beaches on the Big Island? And not only do we have black sand, we also have a green sand. But let's start with black sand. So you head south. It's at this right past South Point. Right outside of Na'aleu is a beach, and it's called Punalu'u Black Sand Beach. A lot of turtles. Anytime we go there, I usually see at least 5 hanging out there.
Yeah.
And what makes that particular, it's a kind of a cove or a bay, and there's a lot of fresh water that comes in there. That's why the turtles are there, is because they're eating all the algae that is grown because of the fresh water.
But the thing is, if you get a chance to hold all the black sand in your hands, and it's really super dark, it's great. It's basically crushed up lava. So it's if you like geology, it's a really great place to also see the different kinds of sand there is. But the green sand beach also has really olivine green sand, but it takes a little bit longer to get there, and that's probably another video.
All right, we'll just do this quickly. You can drive there, but it's a 2.5-mile walk to get there is what it is. Or you can hire, the locals will take you in for, I think, about $20 to go in and out to get there. And it is an adventure. It's a really hard off-road.
That takes a whole day of itself.
And if you're hiking, it's usually hot and the wind is usually blowing. That's kind of the nature of stuff. But
bring water wherever you go.
Quite spectacular once you get down to the bottom.
Yep. I got a question that they might have asked, but they didn't think to ask.
Okay, let's hear the question. Now we're going off script, but let's see what else.
Here's a question nobody's asked, but they should ask.
Yeah.
Where are the bathrooms around the whole island? Now get this, you guys. When you come from the mainland, or the continent as they say, you're used to rest stops mile long, like on your long highways and stuff. Here, there's like a 30 to 40 mile stretch of nothing around different parts of this whole island. So when you see a bathroom, use it. Now, Eric always laughs that I say this, but women, it's mostly kids, small kids. You have to basically track where they're going to be based on where you get around. There's Kona, and then 30 miles up to the Kahala coast, and then another 15, 20 up to Waimea, and then you're on your own almost all the way to Hilo. And then once you get out of Hilo, then you got 40 minutes up to Volcanoes National Park, and then you have to go another 35, 40 minutes before you go to Punalu'u's Black Sand Beach or the Punalu'u Bakery for another bathroom, and then you're waiting again all the way almost into Kona again. So keep that in mind if that's something that bothers you.
Okay, I'm going to add something that's a little more funny. Not funny, not being able to go to the bathroom is definitely not good. But there's also, on our south side of our island, we don't even get a lot of radio stations. It's like the repeaters just aren't there. So you get off to a certain point and you're like, hey, there's no radio here. So
you're talking to your friends in the car as you're heading towards Volcanoes National Park.
Bringing your phone, right? Whatever you got for music on your
Spotify.
phone. Okay, what are the must-see attractions on the Big Island?
I think the top 3 would be Volcanoes National Park, because people keep talking about how do I see a live lava, right?
Yep.
I'd say that you should come down to historic Kailua Village, which is right behind us. Look, there's an inn that was built in 1920. And also I think you should definitely see Hilo, because that's the longest running town in the entire Hawaiian Island chain, and it is completely different than Kailua Kona.
Right. And then what I would suggest is seeing the mantas. Again, we're the one place on the whole Hawaiian Island chain where you can actually swim with them. Right. And they're big and gigantic, but they're very friendly, and it's a good place to do it. But it's at night to make it even more
I was going to say, if being in the ocean at night terrifies you like it did for me for years, that might not be your idea of a good time. However, if you can get past the fact that they are putting you into the ocean with these gigantic creatures and you want a once-in-a-lifetime experience, then definitely do it, because you can't do it anywhere else besides here. One of the things that makes the West Hawaii a great place to snorkel is because of the water clarity. It is so clear and blue for most of the time because we don't have rivers that go right into the ocean. Now, if you were going to try and snorkel in Hilo Bay, you'd be in a lot of trouble because it is brown because they have huge water going into there all the time from the different streams and rivers coming out of that area.
Okay, now I heard one of the things that makes the snorkeling so good here on the Hawaii Island. Also, all the water comes from the watershed above, and it runs through the aquifers, which are kind of, at the end of the day, volcanic, because we are a volcanic island. And it picks up all the nutrients and things like that, and it pushes them, and it comes out underneath the about half a mile, a quarter mile from shore. And these things are great for having all the coral and all the sea plants do really well. So
yeah,
it makes it
because in a warming ocean, having fresh cold water that's 58 degrees coming out and cooling it down, that's why you'll see sometimes we'll see patches of really brilliant coral, because it's actually a chilled experience and you don't have the heat of the ocean. But also it feeds the limu, which is the seaweed that the sea turtles feed off of. So that's one thing too you're going to find a lot in West Hawaii too. You're going to see sea turtles going to a lot of the different beaches. So and keep a distance, you know. But okay, and they also need to see, you know what they need to see?
What do they need to see?
They need to see a lot of our cultural heritage spots.
Yeah.
So across the street, right down here, is the Huliheʻe Palace, where you're going to get a chance to learn about the Hawaiian monarchy, and that's really important to understand a lot about Hawaii and understanding the overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom, and also it gives you a little bit more respect for the culture.
Right, and Hunau is another place like that, also nicknamed City of Refuge, has also got a lot of beautiful things to see from a time gone by that is just spectacular to think what happened during those times. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. And you'll also see there's like two ways to say a variety of place names. So Pu'u Honua o Honau means place of refuge. In a way, but like when he was saying White Sands Beach, it's really called La'aloa Beach Park. So be respectful of the Hawaiian names, and you'll learn a lot about each one has its own specific meaning. And if you do pick up some of the tour guide books, and they also have an app that you can drive around with, they'll tell you a little bit more information about that. Because again, if you understand that what the language is like, it gives you a whole new flavor for appreciation for this island as well.
All right. So, what's the differences between Hilo and Kona?
Okay. What do you think?
All right. So, I'll start. The number one is that it rains a lot in Hilo. Hilo is known for its rain. It's a wet. It's that tropical feel that you got with the rainforest and things like that. We're on Kona side, which is the dry side. It is a lot less. It is drier. We do get rain, but just nothing like they do.
Yeah,
in
I
Hilo.
think we're about 10 degrees warmer here
in general,
next to
yes.
the ocean in West Hawaii than they have in
Hilo.
on
a day that's like 85 in Hilo, it feels like it's dying over there.
Right.
It's, part of it's just because the humidity is a little bit warmer.
Yeah, and because they've got so much water on that side, you're going to find more beautiful parks.
Waterfalls.
Yeah, like this is like our idea of a park right here. We got a little lawn. The fun about being in East Hawaii is that you're going to get a chance to actually go into like tropical jungles, tropical gardens, lush green. It is so much more greener on that side. We have like, lava beds but we also have the cool beaches. And I think that's what makes the difference. One is I love a good beach with a good sunset. And you're going to get that in West Hawaii. Where on the east side, you're going to get a great sunrise, and you're going to be, hanging out in the tide pools. I know my friends are going to go, that's not fair.
Hilo, of course, is an older town. It's been around since, one of the first towns that was here in the Hawaiian Island chains. And here in Kona, it had been a fishing town for a long time. And they also were, they dropped cattle off here. It's been around a long time.
Yeah.
But it didn't really become a tourist mecca until probably late 60s, early 70s. Because it was also really hard to get here at that point.
Right.
Too.
And that's when the Mauna Kea resort was built. It was actually 1965. And also the Kona village was built, and so people used to have to get off their planes or ships in Hilo and then drive all the way over here. And then this hotel here at the Kona Inn actually was kicked off the tourist industry here in West Hawaii, for good or bad. And this used to be a prominent hotel, and then it started. The whole village started growing around this hotel until this place was really the hot spot in the 80s and the early 90s. Okay, so one of the questions that people ask on the internet is, can you drive around the island in one day?
And my answer is yes. And it also happens to be one of my questions because we've actually done a video on this whole thing. And the answer is yes, you can drive around the island. We kind of talked about it a little earlier in this video, but it takes about 12 hours if you do it right. And there's all these different stops along the way. And depending on how many stops you're going to add is how long you're going to go at the island. So sometimes you go really slow and you're like, oh, I'm just going to stop here, spend an hour here. You'll lose. You got to stay on task to get around. But it's really spectacular to go all the way around. And the answer is because you get a chance to see all these different areas. I mean, like every 50 miles it changes. So we're
50.
All right. So depending on
every 30 minutes.
every 30 minutes where you're going to change. So, as you go to South Point, it becomes drier. And as you turn around the corner, it starts to become, the volcano kind of comes up. So it has more
High
trees, and
desert.
it's 4,000 feet. And then you drop into Hilo and it's very lush. Then come around Hilo and then it's the Hamakua coast and it has this all different flavor. So I would highly recommend it. I think it's well worth doing. That was the first thing we did on our trip here. back in 2005. So why was it a hard trip for us, Julie?
Well, we had 2 small children in the car that after about 13 hours in the car that day, they weren't very happy. Also, that's why that brings up to the bathroom experience too. Having kids in the car and not being able to find bathrooms, yeah. But also one thing too that you can get a chance by watching, we did video on this, you guys, getting your little guidebook together and figuring out like where you're going to get a chance to eat around the island. Because again, there's long stretches where there's not going to be any restaurants, but definitely try to eat in some of the places that make this place special, like Waimea, Hilo. Also, you know what? There's some really great restaurants in South Kona. Keep an eye on that one. And if you're looking for some savings, a little bit of moolah, look for the places where the locals would eat. Places that you're going to get like loco moco, grinds, you can see that out there. But you're also going to be able to taste a lot of local food because we do not have a lot of chain restaurants here.
Nor do we have chain banks either, for that matter. So yeah, we are definitely a little bit out in the middle of nowhere here.
Right, and we only have 2 shopping centers, and you're going to see a lot of small boutiques. I hope that you'll go in and check out and support our local businesses, and you'll also see a lot of nature. You're going to see a lot of geology, and you're going to see a lot of land, but not a lot of people on it. So I hope that helps you get an idea of what the Big Island has to offer.
Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground today of questions. Boy, I'll tell you, that was like 2.5 pages of questions from the internet. And my thought is, what do you guys like this? Do you like this format? Is it something you want to see more of? Because there's still another 2 pages that are sitting there on the internet of things that we can answer that might make your trip or coming here easier.
Yeah, and just also you guys know that we do, I have a Facebook page called 365 Things to Do in Kona. So if you want to learn more about like individual things, upcoming events, things like that. We also have tons of videos. We've been doing this for 7 years, you guys. So if you want to know more about a specific part of the island or things to do, it's all in those archives.
That's right. So just type in what you're looking for, and most likely we'll have it in there. And I was just getting back to that. It was 7 years this week that we came up on YouTube. So we're I'm pretty excited to be continuing this channel on for such a long time. I didn't think it would go this far, and I didn't think all of you guys would enjoy it as much as you do.
Yeah, so if you're new, because you found us because you're trying to come here for the first time, definitely dig in. We find ourselves highly entertaining. And so, and we have enough subscribers to show that we know what we're talking about. But there's always so many places to look on this island. And so get an idea of what you want to do. Your day will go by fast because the distances between the big places are a little bit long. So this isn't like a 20-minute drive when you want to go hopping around to go see things. Give yourself plenty of time. Okay,
so if you guys enjoy these videos, we'd like to ask you to subscribe because it'd mean a lot. And the other thing that you need to do is you need to hit that notifications. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but if you don't hit the notifications, you're going to miss a lot of those videos because YouTube just doesn't really care. They're kind of randomly throwing out things. But if you say, I want to see all those things come out, then you'll get it. That's the way it's done.
And we're trying to produce new videos probably every week. And if you guys want to give us some ideas of what you'd like to see in the future, we look at those ideas as well. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed the information. I know I have ADHD and I play squirrel a lot, but hopefully that we've given you rapid fire, great info that's going to use you so you can have a great vacation.
And with that,
we'll say aloha.